Hey guys. Okay, cool. Looks like we got our sound back. Hey there, Resilient Heart. Okay, cool. Now, Resilient Heart, have we met before? And if so, tell me your actual name. And then if we haven't, tell me your name and where you're actually watching from. Dorothy, New Jersey. Okay, perfect. What part of New Jersey? Some of my best friends live in Egg Harbor Township, New Jersey, and Pastor Christine and Wong Young, who we were in covenant with, are at the Love Center in Atlantic City, New Jersey. So, what part of New Jersey are you in? Essex County. Okay. What's like maybe a city near there? Newark. Oh, okay, cool. Okay, so I used to live in New York, and so I lived. Of course, I flew out of Newark, but I lived near. I've been to Jersey City, Patterson, but I lived in the city, closer to the Bronx. But I'm familiar with Jersey City and that type of thing. I've been to the Jersey Shore, and it's so interesting because Coach Donna Farrar, who was on it earlier. She's from New Jersey. I know, Coach Sandra. Let's try this again. Okay, so what did we learn today, boys and girls? Do not unplug your headphones. I should have just taken the headphones off, but this is my first time doing a live stream on YouTube. So definitely a lesson learned. So thank you guys for being willing to come back. So I think you had some additional questions that you were asking since you two have already been on with me. Let me know what other questions you had. Dorothy, one of the things that you had asked me was, did I have naysayers? And that was something I went into a long dialogue about, just sharing. Yes, there were many naysayers. And it's funny because a woman who is my mom's neighbor, she was a pastor. She was our neighbor growing up. And she was like a mother to me, a spiritual mom. She said to me one day, she said, people are going to question your sanity. Well, that's not all she said, but she was actually praying over me and praying for me and speaking into my life. And one of the things that she shared was that in the way that God was calling me and would use me, that I would have a lot of naysayers, that people would question my sanity because God gives me visions and dreams. And when God says something and he tells me to say it, I'm going to say it. Or when someone says, why did you do this? And I'll say, well, because the Lord said so. Then when people don't operate from that space, then even believers, then they'll think you're crazy. I will sound crazy. And sometimes I would sound crazy to myself. But one thing I'll say to Dorothy is, don't you be your naysayer. So I was my own naysayer for a long time. And that's something I think is critical, is that we not be our own naysayer. So people can say whatever they want to say about us. They can talk about us. It doesn't matter. Again, they talked about Jesus, but I don't want us to be that person. I don't want to be the one saying negative things to myself, about myself. So, because I know that's not the will of God and that's not the sound of God, that's not the language of God. So, what other questions do you guys have? I know we talked about some repeatable practices. I'm going to share two books that I want to share with you before we wrapped up. And one of them is the 4 hour work week. Now, I have not read this whole thing, and I feel like he probably can sometimes have potty language, not a lot, but just some that I noticed, but not throughout. But it's by Tim Ferriss, and it's the 4 hour work week, escape 9 to 5, live anywhere, and join the new rich. Now, this is an older book. This is a much older book, but he was sort of the forerunner who came out talking about the 4 hour work week. And the 4 hour work week looks like, um, being able to set your business up to run again itself. But keep in mind that for a long time, I desired to get my business to where it is now, and it's still not running enough by itself as what I would like. But with that, when I first got this book, which I borrowed from my sister, and I suggest that you get this from the library, or if you want to have your own copy, that's great. But look for a used version, because we want to keep our coins. Again, want to be good stewards over our finances. But one of the things that I did was I got it because I want to ultimately have my business run itself and run like a well-oiled machine. And I want to work smart, not hard. Basically, my prayer is, God, let me make money while I sleep. Let me make money not having to work so hard. I want to make money and not do anything. But I know that's possible. And but I don't know. I shouldn't say it's not possible. I think it is possible. But you always want to have a handle in your business. You always want to know what's going on. And that's what I preface that to say this, that you have to be in a place, know where you are in your business before you try to let it run itself. So with that, when you have a new baby, a brand newborn, it can't feed itself, it can't clothe itself, it can't clean itself, and you don't want to let any and everybody hold it because its immune system is not built up. So with that, that is the point of planning and praying and preparing your business so that you can turn it over to itself. But think about it, when you have children, you don't start letting them be independent until they get a certain age, and then you start with smaller chores like cooking, washing clothes. And then when you cook with them. And then when they do cook, they cook things that are, where they won't get burned, things they can put in the microwave, or things they ultimately, when they get older, they can use the stove. So you want to think about your business like that as well, that about where it is in its youth, and then it becomes a teenage business, and it becomes a mature business. And then you can start to give it more independence, if you will, because that's what we're trying to do, is build independence so that the business is independent of you. So you don't create a job for yourself. You want to always be making the business work for you, not you working for it, if that makes sense. So this is a book. I want to share some of the chapters out of it. He talks about, of course, his story and why he wrote this book and what the impetus was for that. But he also gives the definition of what it means to have a 4-hour work week. And he talks about the things that you can eliminate out of your business that might be time wasters and things of that nature. And then he talks about the things you can and may want to automate in your business. And even something new that I've recently started is automation, in a sense of webinars. So that's another thing that you can set up a repeatable and profitable system on, is doing webinars. So on Zoom, which Zoom is free as long as you don't go over, I think, the 40 minutes and 100 people. So, but if you want to use the webinar feature to turn that on, I think you do have to go to the paid version. But it has been worth it for me. So when you think about investing something in your business, you want to think about how soon can you turn that money back around, or bringing in that money so it pays for itself. So Zoom is $54.99 a month to have the webinar version. But with your client, your $500 package client and up, that's going to pay for that. And so you want to think about, when you invest in your business, and your rates you want your rates to be right so that they can pay for those expenses and you actually get that money back. Because when you have a webinar and then you convert your client and you get $1,000 client, well, that webinar has 5 times overpaid for itself, right? So you want to think about it in those terms. But with that, there is a program that you can look into called Ever Webinar. So I'm going to put that in the chat box, Ever Webinar. And with Ever Webinar, I started using that last year, and I've only just really, I invested in it last year, but I only just started using it really this year intentionally. And with that, that's a way for you to have webinars running where you're not having to be live and be in the webinar every time you have it. So it goes into an automation, but it presents as though it's live. So that is an investment. I think that is around $4.99, $5.99, $600 a year, once a year, something like that. But again, if you invest in that when you're ready, you don't have to do this all right now. So please take baby steps with these things. I'm 13 years in, and that was a lot of money for me. I was just like, oh God, but my husband is big on investing in the business, and again, helping me to not have to be so much in the business. And so with that, I trusted his judgment, and I feel that it's going to pay off. So but when I book my client or a client at a coaching client with my one package, my lowest package is going to pay for that. So it's going to pay for itself. So again, automation. So you can automate your webinars, and in your webinar, you're going to tell people, you're going to put links to your products and services that you then now have already set up on automatic payment, and people are going to pay you. And that's how the money comes in while you sleep. Does that make sense? So think about that. So he talks about automation. So then he talks about liberation and basically how you can escape the office, how you can work mobily. So now I know a huge part about this we're talking about is how you can actually take a break and take a vacation, which is big. But also for me, my husband is not only co-owner in Breakpoint, we own a coffee trailer, a mobile coffee trailer, and he's a filmmaker. So with that, he would get gigs that would take him out of town, and I would be stuck here at the house. And I'm like, well, I want to go with him because I could, get a hotel, or we talked about traveling remotely, maybe renting an RV or getting an RV. Then I want to be able to work remotely. And so with that, that's something that I wanted to set up so that the systems in my business work while I work remotely. So I don't have to be here in the office. I can go be where he is and be on the road. And so embracing a mobile lifestyle. So we just went out on vacation, I think like 2 weeks ago, a week ago. And I was like, wow, I can really do this. Like, just because you just need to make sure that wherever you are, you have a strong Wi-Fi signal if you do have to meet with a client or teach the classes and that type of thing, do the clubhouses. So everywhere I went, I had a strong Wi-Fi signal. So it just made me even more want to be able to do that. The other thing he shares is, setting up your newsletters and your emails to automate. So you can do that through MailChimp. So if you look at MailChimp or Constant Contact, with both of those have a plug-in to most websites, so Wix or Squarespace or WordPress, then you have that MailChimp feature where you can set up your newsletters and your emails to go out automatically and automatedly. So there are so many ways that you can automate these processes so you don't have to be there every day or every week. It will take more work on the front end, but on the back end, I didn't used to believe that. My husband was like, just trust me, but it works. So I don't feel like I'm working as hard, but there may be one day where I'm working really hard, or 2 days, but after that, then the podcasts are just coming out on schedule. The videos are popping up on schedule. The newsletter's going out, and I'm doing other things in the business. Okay. Because we always want to be, as owners, we want to be focused on the money making activity of the business, not the administrative piece of the business, although that is critical. So let me know if you guys have any questions. I'm going to share this last resource. And if you don't have any other questions, I'm going to wrap up. But this other book, this is a newer book. This is called Anomaly by Zach Miller. The one reason I love this book is because Zach Miller is hilarious. I got this book at a bookstore, an independent bookstore. I love bookstores. I love especially indie bookstores in Portsmouth, Virginia. And he actually lives in Portsmouth. He was having a book signing that night, but I didn't get to come, or he was having it that week, but I was leaving prior to the book signing. But I purchased the book, and I put out on the book that out on the website on Instagram that I had purchased it, and he responded. And so he asked me, had I started it yet? Was I doing the work and that type of thing? And at the time I hadn't. And then the next week he messaged me back and said, have you started yet? He just about wore me out. But I love that he was so accessible. So Anomaly, it says how to finally stand out in the crowd is the subtitle. And basically this says you have to be the anomaly. If you want to be seen, you have to stop doing what everyone else is doing and tell the world why you're different. Anomaly provides low cost and no cost solutions to easy to implement methods for business owners and marketing professionals to turn heads, be memorable, and become the anomaly. Rather than rambling about high-level topics that turn out to be nothing more than a cliche of rah-rah phrases that are supposed to get people excited, Zach Miller shows people how they can grow themselves and their brand today. And he teaches you how to stand out from millions of people that are fighting for attention. He gives you online and in-person strategies that cost less than this book. And this book costs $17.95. helps readers grasp the concept of confidence and showcases case methods of these things in action. And so with that, he just gives, I'm not going to read all the table of contents, and I'm still reading. I haven't finished this book yet, but the things that I have done that were helpful, which is that automated blog post, is where I got the idea. And so he talks about having a sales funnel, definitely finding your niche, figuring out where to start, who your target customer is, 24-hour follow-up, promoting yourself, applying for awards, repeatable, searchable content. So there's that word again, repeatable. So you want to do things that you can easily repeat, that don't take a lot of time, energy, effort, or money. He says asking for testimonials, promoting social reviews, leveraging your blog posts, using webinars and courses. So that's the other thing I want to touch on. I'm going to answer Coach Sandra's question, email marketing and building calendars. So a lot of things I'm sharing, he also mentions here in the book. I didn't take them from him, but it's good that there's that symmetry and there's that repeatability of information. So I highly recommend Anomaly because it's newer. It just published in, I think, I want to say 2021 and 2019. So great book, highly recommend it. But with that, courses. So one of the things that my husband and I did was we set up courses on Teachable. Teachable, there are a number of websites out there where you can set up training courses. And as a coach, don't think about it from a coaching standpoint. I think when I talk about coaches from this standpoint, you want to think about what you know that you can sell, what you know that other people want to know and will pay for. And so with that, you can take your expertise, package it into a course, and then sell it. And so there are numerous websites where you can set up your courses and sell them. Teachable is my absolute favorite. There's Udemy. I think there's Linda. And then the other one starts with a K, but I can't think of it. But those Podia is another one. These are all excellent ways. So you take what you know, package it into a course, sell the course, and you can sell the course as little as $50, $100, $200. When I started selling the eCoach course, it was $299 was my introductory rate. Then I bumped it to $599, $899, and now it's $1899 or $1,800, something like that. But God told me to take the live course and create it into an e-course when COVID started, because he said there are a number of people that I've called to be coaches, and they're going to be home now, and they're going to have time to be able to take the course and get the certification, which I've been leading them to do. And it just blew up. So with that, I'm just creating other courses. You can do mini courses, MINI, medium level courses, or you can do high-end courses. And it is so easy. The templates are so easy to use, and anybody can do it. I promise you can do it. And they have actually a tutorial that Teachable offers where you can take a free course building class, and it will show you how to do it. So with that, highly recommend it. And that's how you make money too, while you're not doing anything, because all you're doing at that point is marketing your class and sharing the link. And then the class does the rest of the work. So you record your videos, or you can just do PowerPoint slides. You don't even have to be on camera speaking. So with that, again, if you guys are interested, that's something that I'm starting. Actually, tomorrow is the first night of an 8-week course. So every 8 weeks, I'm going to be taking coaches and entrepreneurs through an 8-week mentoring session on how to develop their training classes and monetize the training classes. All right. So Coach Sandra said, I didn't get to hear your response to potential client about mental health care that was bipolar. Yes, I feel like you handled it right, asking her upfront if she was under the care of a mental health professional, because I feel like that was the Holy Spirit just sort of nudging you and giving you that inkling. And I said it's important that you let her know that you're not trained to work with mental health, people that have a mental health diagnosis. And I was sharing that bipolar has different facets to it. Like there can be bipolar schizophrenia, bipolar with mania, bipolar with suicidal ideations. There can be so many different facets of bipolar that you could trigger something unknowingly in your coaching session that could cause them to have to plummet. And so you don't ever want to do that. And so with that, I feel like you made a great decision to not work with her. And, you know, again, you can always be gracious in how you respond. Say right now, that's not something that I'm able to work with. And I think you're in the best hands by being with a mental health professional. And so I think you did the exact right thing. I think Anomaly is a great book too. I agree. Donna. Coach Sandra said also bipolar isn't the reason as much as her still being under care. Would you consider bipolar overall be a reason not to coach a person? Um, no, but I'll tell you that when I started coaching, God positioned a mentor for me who actually was a counselor, a licensed counselor, the LCSW. And one of the things that she shared with me was, Patrice, you're too new to coach with clients who have a mental health diagnosis. Not, she said, not that you can't in the future, but you need to be really clear on expectations. You need to make sure that you walk with their mental health therapist so that your client's safety is always first and foremost. And so as a new coach, she strongly encouraged me not to take clients that had had any type of mental health diagnosis. So now that's completely up to you. But the other piece that happens there sometimes also is it's really important to help people understand and know the difference between coaching and counseling. And that is the purpose of using a coaching agreement with your clients, because it sets the standard and the tone for expectations, what to expect, what not to expect. Because oftentimes people confuse coaching with counseling. So because that person is used to that therapist arrangement, used to being counseled, then you're going to have to teach them how to be coached. And so I don't know. I would suggest that you wait and continue to walk with and look with those clients who actually fit your ideal client, which you already have established. All right. Since I'll be coaching those in leadership, do you know any good resources or books to support me or the client as leaders? There's so many great books out there. The initial one that comes to mind is Jesus CEO, or any of the John Maxwell books on leadership, because he is incredible in his teachings on leadership. So I would look into John Maxwell's books on leadership, and again, Jesus CEO, which is by Lori Beth Jones, I believe. And what else am I gonna say? Look at the scriptures that support leadership, and also your Stoltzfus book. The Coaching Questions book has a section around coaching leaders, and there may be a resource section also listed in there. So guys, I think that's all I had for today. Are there any other questions or anything? This has been so fun. This is, again, my first time, I think, going live on YouTube or doing a live stream. It has been so intimidating. But I'll share with you also that YouTube is another excellent way to set up a repeatable and profitable system. So I have gotten so many clients, coaching, certification, training clients from YouTube, which has been shocking to me. But the Lord told me to do YouTube videos. He said, start doing YouTube videos. The Lord told me when it was time to start marketing heavier. And he said, start doing videos. And I just was like, I do not want to do videos, because just sitting talking to a blank camera is, who are we even talking to? but then I did. And so I did it the year he told me to, which I think was 2019. And then nothing happened, and nobody was responding. Nobody was watching them. And I was like, well, God, are you sure? Like, not sure, but can you breathe on this? Like, is this going to be something? So then come 2020, then people just started watching them and commenting and asking about coaching certification information. And so God was having me do it in advance. So sometimes he will have you do things, set things up, because he's a God of preparation, sowing, reaping. So that was a sowing season. I was sowing. And now I get so many clients and connections, amazing connections from YouTube, and that just blows my mind. So with that, setting up YouTube videos, not being afraid to come on camera, you can do interviews with other people. So then you can do you can do a Moses and Aaron type of situation where you have, if you're Moses, bring an Aaron on so that they can interview you and you guys can have topics that you talk about. So that's a way to set up a repeatable practice, because you can record your YouTube videos in advance and then release them. There's a scheduler on YouTube. You can record your podcast in advance and schedule them. So again, then the way that you profit from that is you're always sharing like I'm going to share with you now. Hey guys, if you know someone, I know Coach Sandra, you're already walking with Breakpoint. If you or someone you know wants to become a certified Christian life coach, please have them reach out to Breakpoint Coaching. If you haven't already done so, please like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And so you always want to have a call to action. Or if you are someone who wants an entrepreneur who wants to be mentored in how to establish your own training program or certification program, we offer 8-week courses in that. So be sure that that's how you repeat it, and that's how you monetize it. You ask for the business. And if you guys want to stay connected, you can connect with me through my website, www.drpatricecarter.com. You can set up for newsletters. I'm on not only YouTube, I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. And I'm highly available, accessible, and approachable. So I love connecting with other coaches and people that are entrepreneurs or just have questions of me. I'm definitely here to help and serve. So let's see. Sandra said, thank you. You said, I'm Resilient Heart. Thank you. It was awesome. Thank you so much, Donna, for joining us. Wonderful meeting with you and being with you today. Coach Sandra, thank you so much. I got everything I was wanting to know for the moment anyway. Resilient Heart. I have 600 videos, not many subscribers. Okay, I have subscribed. Thank you. Well, I'm going to go check you out and definitely make sure I subscribe as well. And Sandra Gano says, I'd like to check your site out, Resilient Heart. Okay, great. So, Donna, we're definitely going to go out and check out Resilient Heart. So, this was great, guys. Thank you so much for being so wonderful. I prayed. I was like, God, send me good people, send people that will, be conversational and just hang out with me to talk about how to set up repeatable and profitable systems. So you guys have been an amazing, just set of sisters and fellow coaches. So thank you so much for that. So anyone else that will come and watch this video later, God bless you. I hope this has been helpful. And if it has, please be sure to reach out to me. And let me know if you have any questions or anything I can do to assist you on your life coaching journey. So God bless you guys, and I will see you next time. Take care. Thank you so much, Donna. God bless you guys.